Hello, welcome to Sheffield Board Gamers Podcast. My name is Rick. I'm joined today by Tom Calderon. Hello, Tom.
Hi, Rick.
Hello, thank you for coming on and talking to me. It's good to speak to you again.
And good to be here.
This is episode 69.
69, dudes!
And we are going to talk about some board games that we've been playing recently. So we've both played a couple that we're going to talk about. We have a question of the week, which is, do you play with any expansions? Do you like expansions? Do you bother with them at all? But before that, I have been on a train ride.
Okay.
For my birthday, we went on a steam train. So it turns out if you go down to Derby, there's a piece of like reclaimed track that, you know, volunteers have sort of restored. And there's a steam train that runs up and down it for the tourists. So you can jump on this steam train at Derby. It takes you down to like the local village. You get some fish and chips that you can eat on the way back up. It takes about an hour to go down there. It's fairly steady. It's not like fast or anything, but it's a nice ride out in the steam train, like in an old-fashioned kind of train with the big carriages on that, like you see in the old days. So me and Tracy went on a ride. I didn't play any games, unfortunately.
There's a lot of train-themed games.
Yeah, I was thinking I could have took some, and they had some nice big tables, because obviously you eat a meal, and you need tables and stuff to sort of eat your fish and chips and stuff when you get to the other end of the line. So we could have easily played like a card game or you know, the little ticket to ride, you know, the 20-minute one of those quite easily. Yeah, we just didn't. Yeah, we were too busy watching the scenery, and we took the dog with us as well. So the dog was kind of excited and jumping up on us laps and everything. So that made it a bit harder. But if you want,
then maybe not edge your steam.
Yeah, if you want to play a train game on an actual train, it's a good way to do it because it was a nice day out. It was a nice drive down there. It's only about 45 minutes away from where we are. Jump on the steam train, look at the scenery going past, have some fish and chips at the other end. It was great. It was a really good day.
I think there's a few different places where there's sort of heritage railways.
Yeah, my friend went on the Flying Scotsman.
Flying Scotsman, yeah.
Yeah, you can go on that.
Yeah, when we had a big family holiday earlier on this year, we had a house in just outside Two Dales. And it was only when we were going back that I realised that there was a station down the road where they had a heritage railway running up and down, which we could have gone to.
All right.
Anyway,
yeah.
So we missed that one. Anyway, that's Two Dales near Matlock. I think the train line goes.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So a bit more local.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes.
Yeah.
So I think there's definitely a crossover. In that Venn diagram of board gamers and train people, there's definitely a few people in that middle bit.
Yeah, well, I'm not really a big train person, but I do like the engineering of them and the history and it's funnily enough, I've got a train game that I'm going to talk about later on. But
well, yes, I've got a sort of tangential train game. Yes, that's what I'll say. But
yeah, it was good.
A lot of them around.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I've done is I bought a book called Dr. Finn's Book of Solo Strategy and Word Games. So this is a book you can get off Amazon. It's basically 8 roll and write games by Steve Finn, who you might know from Biblios, perhaps, or he's done loads of games, I think. But that's probably his most famous one.
Yes, I knew the name sounded familiar.
Yeah. He's done loads of games, and I think he publishes quite a few sort of print and play things, and he has like a website with stuff on as well. So this is kind of a collection of roll and write games. So you just need like a pencil and maybe a few dice to play these. So it's a collection of, I think it's a collection of sort of, he's trying to, I looked at an interview for him, and it's kind of a new way of sort of publishing his stuff and getting it out there. They're not really big enough to be kind of a game in their own right, but kind of putting them together into a book lets you kind of get it out there and let people play them. So there's a couple of different styles of games. One's like a spaceship one where you're trying to shoot down spaceships by rolling the dice and picking numbers. There's a couple of word games on there. There's a couple of number puzzle games. The only issue I've got with it is that they've printed There's 8 games in the book, and there's probably about 8 pages for each one. So you can play it multiple times. You can play each one like several times. But they've only printed like on one side of the page. So basically like half the book is completely blank and just like empty pages. I'm sure it would have been difficult to sort of print.
Yeah, give you twice as many plays through.
Print them on both sides, yeah, and give you a bit more playability. But other than that, yeah, it's good fun. I'm enjoying sort of sitting down and spending like 15, 20 minutes playing a quick game, and you kind of get a score at the end, and then you should compare your score to like your previous ones and try and get like the highest score and stuff. So it's pretty straightforward. Oh, there's a nice there's a QR code on the back as well, so you can look at that, and it shows you how to play videos. It's obviously got the instructions for each game in the book as well, but you can look it up online, and it shows you some videos on there of how to play them. They're all pretty straightforward. They're not complicated at all. You just need a couple of dice and a pencil, and you're away. But yeah, so if you're looking for something to sort of on your lunch break, or if you've got like a half an hour spare, then yeah, it's a good investment. Dr. Finn's book of solo strategy and word games. That's called.
Oh, nice.
So have you been up to anything this month? Have you been anywhere or been out and about?
Not that much, no. I mean, played a couple of games, but I had a week off work, but didn't actually do anything with it other than a lot of sleeping, really.
It's nice just to have a catch-up every now and then to
I know,
like a lane and
just,
stuff. Yeah,
I know, especially this time of year where everything's good, nights drawing in and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have your cozy blanket and your hot water bottle and just chill out.
Yeah. Seen a lot of theatre things, but
all right, yeah.
I won't mention them too much because we're getting a bit far away from gaming related here.
Catan the musical.
Oh well, yes. I mean, there's definitely possibilities there.
Okay. Shall we go on to the games then that we've played?
Go on then.
So my first one is a game called Station to Station. So I've played this a couple of times at a club. It's a train game. Yep. It's a pick up and deliver game. So you're there's a map of North America, and you sort of go driving your train around, collecting goods, then dropping them off to fulfill these contracts. So there's a map of America which is connected with dotted lines, and each location has a tile on it, and the tile is basically what that location needs. I think it's 4 resources. It's like iron, wheat, wood, all the usual stuff. So you have a little train piece that you have on the map, and you can buy goods, spending money, and then you move to a spot to drop them off, pick up the tile that's there, drop off the stuff that particular location needs, and then you draw a new tile from the bag, and that replaces the place that you've just left. You can hop over people, so you're not allowed to stop on the same space as another player's train. So sometimes it's, especially with more players, you can kind of hop over people. You can usually only move one space. You can pay coal to move extra spaces. But if you land on a space that's already occupied, you can move on again for free. You don't have to pay anything. So it's a good way to kind of leapfrog over places and get to other places on the map. It's not a massive map. It'll probably take you a couple of turns to get from one side to the other. So especially if you're jumping over. So yeah, you're basically collecting goods, dropping them off, and then that will get you more money that you can spend on more goods. And when you fulfill a contract as well, it turns into a ticket, and that goes on your player board. And they can spend these tickets to get upgrades for your train, as well as you can get personnel, you can get employees, which will give you bonuses. So they'll increase your movement, or let you hold more coal, or make it cheaper to buy or drop off stuff, various different things. We've played it. I've only played it 4-player so far. I'm guessing that 2-player, you'll not have that interaction. You'll not bump into each other as much, so you'll have to spend more kind of moving around a little bit because nothing changes on the board. It's still the same size, so I think it would work quite well as a 2-player game. But yeah, with a 4-player, it's definitely a lot more interaction because people are jumping in and taking over contracts where you were sort of heading towards. So you kind of have to have that planning ahead of, if somebody takes that tile, then I need to make sure I've got somewhere to drop off all this stuff that I've collected. that's nearby that I can actually get to. It's very smooth playing. It's dead straightforward. You have like a set. There's probably like 5 or 6 steps on your turn, and they're all on the board. They're all printed clearly on the board. All the iconography is really great. It's dead straightforward to sort of play. Family weight, I would say. It's not really heavy or complicated. It's a pretty probably Ticket to Ride weight, I would guess.
Gateway game.
It's not quite a gateway game, I would say. It's probably a bit more advanced than that.
Gateway Plus, I think is the term.
Yeah, that's a good description. Yeah, took us about 90 minutes to play it, 4-player, which I think it says on the box between 60 and 90 minutes. So yeah, I think that's about right. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's a good fun game. Kind of optimizing your routes, planning ahead. Being as efficient as you can, collecting all your bonuses, and it does kind of ramp up as well because of the employees that you're getting and the bonuses that you're getting. You can do more and more stuff as you go along. So it's kind of on a timer. It's got like a bag with some tiles in, and that you're pulling tiles out every time you take a turn. So it does go pretty quickly, and even if people are not sort of doing the dropping off, you're still pulling tiles out of the bag every turn. So it's quite snappy and doesn't hang around. Designed by Johnny Pack, who's done quite a few other heavier games, but this kind of on a lighter scale, I think, of the stuff that he usually does. Unconscious Mind,
Coloma.
Merchant's Cove, Coloma, are all Johnny Pack games. So yeah, it's a good fun game to play. Station to Station, that was called.
Yeah, sounds nice.
Yeah.
I keep on seeing that on the shelf at Patriot Games and thinking I've already got it. I think I keep on getting it mixed up with another train game called Switch and Signal, and it's nothing like that, I don't think. But
yeah, the name's a bit generic, isn't it? And
I mean, alliterative S names, something about trains. Yeah,
yeah, that's one I want to try. Switch and Signal, that does look good. Yeah,
a cooperative game is nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my first one.
I've got a couple of games I wanted to talk about. One of them a brand new release, and one an old one that we've just sort of gone back to.
Okay.
I'll choose the old one to talk about first because it continues the theme of train games, although slightly different. It's entirely different. It's not trains, it's trams.
Oh, okay.
It's Trambahn, which is a 2-player only card game. But it's by a guy named Helmut Orloj, Ohley, I don't know, who, if you look at all the games he's designed, he's a train guy. Right. He's done a lot of 18XX games.
Oh, yeah.
He did a game called First Class All Aboard the Orient Express, but probably one he's most known for is he was co-designer on Russian railroads. So all trains all the time with this guy.
Yeah,
but apart from trams.
Yeah,
he did another one called Poseidon, which is it's like an 18XX game except with boats.
Right.
So it does vary from trains a little bit, but Trambahn is a nice little 2-player game released about 10 years ago. Is it
only 2-player? Is it
only 2-player?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I think I first heard about it in a list by Rado, Richard Ham, who did a list of his favourite 2-player games, and this was at the top or near the top.
Oh, okay.
So I decided to get it, and he was right. It was really good. It's a fairly simple mechanism. You just pick up cards and either put them down in sets where the numbers have to go up. So you have to make decisions. Do I skip these? All these numbers just so I can get a bigger set now and things, or you add them to your money pile because every card can be a money, and you use the money to buy engine cards because every set that you put down has to have an engine, and the engines are multipliers for the sets. So when a set scores, it's however many points times by 2, 3, or 4, depending on how good an engine you got. But the other thing you're using the cards for is to actually add them to the middle, and when 4 cards of one colour are in the middle, that's when that colour scores. So you kind of got these lovely balancing things, like do you use the cards for putting down or use it for money, or do you put more of the blue card in front of you to make more more points when it scores, or do you put the blue card in the middle to make the blue score? Because and it's it flows very nicely, but with lots of agonising decisions along the way. And after scoring 10 times, then you finish and see who's got the most. So you might have had a nice little yellow set that you've just thrown lots of yellows into the middle to make it score 3 or 4 times in that time, and just milk that. Meanwhile, the other player is trying to make green score over it, and you've got no greens at all. So it's a nice little game. It just works really well. And the train theme tram theme, sorry, is on there. I mean, I think it could have been anything, really. Nice having games that are sort of 2-player specific, because it really sort of it uses the push and pull of that. And any more players, you'd have had to design different elements to make it more flexible. But 2-player only, it's really sort of focused.
I guess if it's just a card game, you kind of the theme of it could be, if it's a big trade game and you've got cold tokens and you've got like train pieces, meeples and things like that, that kind of adds to the theme. But I guess if it's just like cards, then it could be anything. But it does come through a bit, does it? The tram kind of theme of it.
Yeah, I mean it's a nice theme, and it's you're making like all the things are called engines and stations and passengers and things, so everything's cohesive, and it's a nice little art style by Clement Strands, who does a lot of Uwe Rosenberg's things as well. So cute little early 20th century Germans in Munich at the end of the 19th century, so not 20th century. The successful new tramway needs expansion. So it's nice. Good. It's really pleasant, but a little bit of agonising decisions. And I recommend it. I don't know how available it is. As I say, it was released about 10 years ago. We just get it out every now and then and have a sort of stressful time for half an hour and then put it away.
Yeah.
And it's very different to Russian Railroads. I don't know if you've played that.
No, I haven't, no.
But that's a game of, railways again, but it's lots of interacting mechanisms. You've got 3 different railroads, which all, if you expand on here, then that gives you one sort of bonus. If you expand on this one, it gives you a different sort of bonus.
Yeah.
And you've got lots of, and you can, instead of advancing the train, you could advance your engineer along the track there and get other bonuses. It's a much more complicated and Euro-y game. Very good.
Yeah. So moving away from trains and trams, my next one is a space game.
I think we've finished the train segment of our podcast now. So.
I'm sure they'll crop up again later on. My next one is Space Base.
They don't have trains in space?
This is a game where you roll dice and you'll get some stuff based on the cards that you've got in front of you. But on another player's turn, when they're rolling dice, you'll also get stuff as well. A bit like Machikoro or, the other games where you get stuff on other people's turn. It's one of those kind of games. So you start off with a row of cards in front of you from 1 to 12 in 12 different slots. And you roll 2 dice. So the dice, you can either activate each one individually or you can add them together and activate that total figure. So if I roll 2 2s, for example, I could activate the 2 card twice, or I could add it together, make a 4 and activate the 4, but I'd only activate that once. So your 6s and 7s or 8s are going to activate more than your sort of 11s and 12s, and you'll get a bit of money, you might get some income, you might get a couple of points. And in the centre of the table is a market of new cards with better abilities and special abilities that you spend your money on. So you can pick up a card from the middle and say that goes in slot number 4, for example. So the card that was in slot number 4, you flip it upside down and you tuck it under your board, and then that'll give you the passive ability. So that will happen on someone else's turn. You might get a coin or 2 coins or some points or something like that. And then the card that you just bought goes into the now freed up space on your board. The way that you kind of build your board is your kind of strategy for the game. You can try and keep the numbers low and try and stack upon those and activate like 2 each turn because you've got 2 dice, so you can activate between 1 and 6 each turn. The higher cards are usually better. So like your 11 and your 12 slot might get you 7 money or 10 money or something like that when it activates. So is it worth risking, putting them in their slots but only having to activate every few turns rather than every turn you're going to get something? Do you kind of pile up on one slot? So if that slot activates, you'll get a load of stuff, or do you kind of spread out your cards and so you'll get something each time? It's quite good in that respect that you're kind of building your engine and you can see your engine in front of you and you can see what activates on your turn, what activates on other people's turns. And that's kind of where the meat of the game is. It's basically a race to get to 40 points. Whoever gets to 40 points first triggers the end of the game. And then you just have one, you finish the round off, and then whoever's got the most at that point will win. So it's quite good. It's quite good in that engine kind of building way that it starts off quite slow. You only might get a couple of coins, but then you can spend those on a card to upgrade. And now you'll be getting a little bit more each turn, and then a little bit more and a little bit more. And then finally at the end, you'll be getting loads of stuff. With your final roll, you'll be getting loads of points, hopefully loads more money.
Or if you judge the end of the game right, you can start converting all your money into rocket ships, which totally kill that space, but it's just a lump of points right then.
There's a separate deck at the top where it basically blocks off one of your spaces and doesn't give you anything, but it's good for end-game scoring because you'll get a whole bunch of points.
So it's like
just by spending money.
8 points now, but you're never going to get anything if you roll a 3.
Yeah, so again, it's that pivot point of when do you want to start doing that. You can see like what other people are getting and what they're collecting and how close they are to ending the game. Do I start doing it now, or can I eke out another round before I can, if I need to spend money and start getting into those points? So it's got that tension as well. You're keeping an eye on what other people are doing and how close they are to activating their stuff as well.
I really like Space Base. Played it a lot. Generally a 2-player, but often with the club as well. I've never played it with an expansion.
We did.
Yes.
Yeah. We played with, I think it's called Shy Pluto expansion. So I've played it a couple of times before, but it's a really nice expansion because it doesn't add a whole lot to it. It adds a couple of little bits, but not like a massive amount. One of the things it adds is extra dice. So you get these little pink dice that are about half the size of the normal dice. And they've only got symbols on one face. So if you think of like a 6-sided die, all of the sides are blank apart from one. And that side might have points on it or income or money. But you roll these dice on other people's turn. So they roll the normal two dice and then pick what they want. But you're rolling your pink dice as well, and you might get something out of that. Not very often because like the odds are not stacked in your favour. But if you manage to get 3 or 4 or 5 of these dice and you roll them every turn, you're bound to get something out of it. And the dice get better as well. So the starting ones will only get you like 1 point or 1 coin or something like that. But as you get bought up by the players, more dice come out of a bag, and they get replaced and they get better and better as you go along. So I think one of the dice that Phil had, it gave him 4 points when it activated. So again, it's only on one face. It's not going to activate every turn, but that was a neat little addition, and it gives you something else to do on your turn when when the other people are taking their turn and deciding what cards to buy. You can roll your dice. And then the other thing they added is some clear dice as well. So some of the cards, some of the spaceships that you can buy, let you activate these clear dice, these special clear dice. And you can roll these dice and activate your cards, but they only activate for you. Nobody else gets the ability to use those. So it's like your own private little dice that you can roll. So that's quite cool as well. Other than that, it was really good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. We had a pretty close game. One of the players was quite behind. We were like halfway up the point strike already and did not even start, but because he'd sort of been building up his engine, suddenly it started activating and rolling what he needed, and then suddenly he caught up with us, so it was pretty close towards the end. It came down to, the yellow cards, I think, at the end as who was actually going to win, who got there first. But yeah, it's a really good fun game. Took us probably just over an hour to play. at 3 players. Yeah, it was really good fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I always enjoy Space Base. It's a really good game. Like you say, it's the basic format of the rolling dice, and other people can potentially leech off that, is the Machikoro. I think was the first one that started it. But I think Space Base has sort of perfected that. Because Machikoro sort of did lead to some sort of slightly weird game states where sometimes people get stuck a bit, or degenerate strategies and things. But Machikoro Space Base is sort of really smooth and great arc to the game every time. Building to the end.
It's another one that kind of ramps up really quickly towards the end, and like I say, at the start you're only getting 1 or 2 coins, but then towards the end you're getting like 10, 15, 20.
Yeah, satisfying.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So it's really good. Yeah, worth the play if you see it out and about. That is Space Base.
So my last game is up to the minute, hot off the press. Well, maybe I don't know. Straight from Essen, Mike brought back from Essen a game called. I'm going to go with Orloj. It's Orloj, and J's are always a bit scary when you see them in a name because Europeans have like 20 different ways of pronouncing a J. I think it's Orloj. So this is a game based on a ridiculously intricate astronomical clock that you will find if you're wandering through the streets of Prague, with like 6 different dials going in different directions and lots of other bells and whistles going on. And so someone saw this and thought, that's really complicated and intricate. That would really lend itself to a Euro game. So there was 4 of us, obviously, playing it for the first time. So we may have got some rules wrong here or there. Who knows? It's me and Scott and Mike and Peter. The main core of the game is a wheel that turns around, where you select what actions you're going to do. So it's got really satisfying cardboard cogs and things. So, think Tolkien and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you select what action you're doing by moving the hands around on this clock. And that'll point to a pair of actions, which might be get some resources and do a building action, or move up a track and move the moon thing, which gets you other stuff. So this pair of actions you can manipulate a bit. First off, you can choose how far to go along. At the start, you can only go 1 along. As you get better on tracks, you can go further along. But you can push it further by using I forgot the game in-game term for it. But basically, you're wrenching the clock a bit, wrenching the mechanism. I think it's called a variation, I think. So you're sort of pushing the clock a bit to try and get it to do what you want. So so say you can only move 1, but you really want the action after that, so you can do one of these variations and push it 1 further. And whenever you do that, you turn over one of your little pieces, and that's bad. Having lots of them, you've got up to 5, but if they're still turned over when we get to a scoring, then it's -1 point for each one of those. So you don't want to do it too much, but it just sort of nudges things a bit. And you can also move the. As I say, it's a pair of actions, and you can use one of these variations to sort of move the 2 wheels so that you get a different pair. So you might want to do the building action, but not get those resources. You might want to do the building action and the workshop action or something. So you shift things around so that you get a bit more what you want. But that is just one element, and this is a game which is, I think even sort of fairly experienced gamers would open up this board and be a bit scared, just because there's a lot going on.
It does look quite busy, yeah.
Yes. There's this central clock mechanism for things, and then there's another clock mechanism next to that, where you are going to be placing out various astronomical discs in 2 different circles, and then there's another track around that where this little figure is moving around, and then each quadrant of the board has got another little section where 2 of them are building sections. One where you're building one of the astronomical discs, they're building the smaller astronomical discs, and then there's another quadrant where you've got 3 different tracks where you can move your piece up to get better at various different things, and then there's another section where you can build workshop pieces and get apprentices to put in those workshops. And then there's a whole separate board which has 2 interlocking gears with pictures of 12 apostles on, 6 on one and 6 on the other. And this will move around and show which of the apostles you can choose to get to put in your storeroom, so that you can place that in a section on your board, which will get you different things. And then there's another section of the board where you've got other tracks that you're moving up to get better at, and you get the idea. So yeah. It worked very well, I thought. I mean, it had a nice arc to the game. At the start of the game, you can't do very much. You move here, you do this, you get that. You can't do a build yet, so you don't do it. You go and get some resources instead. Later on in the game, you might have massive combos. Oh, I'm doing this action, which means I can move the painter, which is a thing moving around the outside of that track, which means if I move that to there, then I can get this other action, which means I can move on the track, which puts me onto one of these scrolls, which means I can get this one of these scrolls, which gives me another action if I want to use it now. Yes, I will. I use that to get a workshop, and I get that workshop, and I put it next to my other workshop, and the 2 symbols on it match up, so I get to do a build action, and now I've got all the things that I need to do a build action, which will put that build a thing to put on there, and that'll give me another action, which will mean I can, So by the end of the game, our actions were twice as long as they were at the start of the game, and it sort of built up in a big, quite complicated but satisfying way, I thought. It looks more intimidating than it was in play. I mean, we had a fair amount of explanation before to understand what all the different symbols were, but it was all very well explained on the board. Once you knew what it meant, you could just look on the board and go, oh, yeah, that's how that works.
Right.
And yeah, I enjoyed it. It was very Guru-y. Sometimes I want something just to rub those brain muscles without having to bother about, theme too much. Although the theme is very, very accurate. I mean, even bits that I thought, oh, that's a bit abstract. I mean, that's just silly. I mean, having 2 cogs moving around with apostles on that kind of, and then I looked up a video of the clock, and look, there's 2 massive cogs with apostles on moving around, and so cool. There's 2 looking out of windows at a time, and then it moves around, and 2 different ones looking out of windows, which is exactly what it does in the game. Yeah. So, but I just thought it was a Euro abstraction.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was it's very good, and it got me to look up some fascinating medieval clockwork.
Yeah, I like it when games do that. They make you investigate sort of this.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it before. But it's,
no, I haven't. But yeah, it makes me intrigued to look it up as well.
Yeah, look up some videos. There's lots of videos of the mechanisms in action and things. And it's a ridiculously over-elaborate clock, because obviously some rich Prague friends at some point decided to fund. But
do you think that feeds into the theme a little bit as well? Because the board itself looks like that, because the clock kind of looks like that and works like that. Even though you said, once you know what you're looking at, it's fairly simple, and you can see, not simple, but it's you can see what does what. I
mean, it's I think it's a perfect theme for a Euro game, and I don't know why no one's made something of it before. I mean, presumably the designers of this looked at the clock and thought, that is absolutely perfect to make a game out of.
Yeah.
Abraham Sanchez Hemida and Paloma Pascual.
Right.
I think I've heard this is their second game after Virus Roll and Write. So no, I've not heard of this design duo before. But yeah, they've done a good one here, I think.
Yeah, I did walk over and have a quick look at the board and everything. It looks definitely intriguing with the gears and the hands and everything on the clocks and everything in place. It all looks like pretty colourful and looks nice on the table.
I mean, I suppose there is a bit of an issue in that you might be. There's a little. it's a little hard for you to plan out what you're going to do on your turn, because although you might think a couple of spaces around is a thing I want to do on that action selection clock thing, but if the person before you uses their variations to wrench it a bit too far past that, then you can't do that. You've got to reevaluate your plan a bit. But you can sort of, work out. I generally want to work towards this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And a bit like what you were saying with someone in Station to Station, where they were sitting on low points for ages but building their engine and then whizzed up. That's kind of what I did in that game. Everyone else was... The main way of getting points is building these discs with astrological symbols on them onto the main clock dial. And I wasn't doing that very much, and everyone was kept on building things. And I go, I really ought to get round to that at some point. But I was just collecting things and moving up tracks and things, and I got a lot of points towards the end.
Yeah,
and I think I ended up squeaking a win. I think just
all right, okay.
Unless, of course, we did something wrong and counted something wrong, which is always a possibility in these complicated games when you play it for the first time.
Yeah, that's a good thing about these kind of games, isn't it? You kind of explore more and get more out of it the more players you have of it. So
the
next time you play it, you'll know sort of the basics, and you'll know what to look for and how those combos work, and that gives you something to work towards. Like your first game, it's just kind of learning it and pulling levers to see what happens. But with these kind of things, it pays off to play them and learn them a bit more, doesn't it? But it looks good. Yeah. Well, hopefully Mike will bring it again then, and we'll get a chance to play it. Cool.
I think he got a few tasty new games, so he might be wanting to work through some.
I think so. Yeah. I saw people who'd been to Essen who've brought back I've got 20 new games to play. Good luck with that.
Maybe one day I'll go to Essen, but it seems a bit much at the moment.
Yeah. But that's good.
Far too many hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah. Okay. Any more games, or should we move on to question of the week?
Let's go on to question of the week, I think.
Okay. So I don't know how much sort of you kind of get involved with this, but I kind of the play of Base kind of prompted this question about do you play with expansions? So the expansion that we played with, it rolled in really nicely and didn't really add much to the sort of base game, and I think it could have been included. If with a new player, they would never have known that they were playing with an expansion. That it fits in that nicely. It would just have been part of the game, and this is just another thing they can do over here. So I like it when expansions do that, when they kind of add stuff in and it kind of integrates quite well with the game. But do you bother with expansions? Do you specifically hunt them down, or do you avoid them at all, or do you just get the ones that that you're interested in, or what are your feelings about expansions?
Well, I have a lot of games, and we generally don't play a game enough to make it worthwhile getting an expansion. Because often an expansion is if you've played a game a lot and want to see something a bit different, then this expansion changes it. Having said that, we have got a few expansions that we've played over the years, but often we don't bother. I mean, just trying to think what expansions we've got. I think we've got an expansion to Seven Wonders Duel, an expansion to Kaido. I did a blog thing where I'd play a game intensively for a week, and Tokaido was one of those, and for that we got a couple of expansions for it,
right?
Which was quite good. Because Tokaido's not a massively complicated game, so an entire week of it wouldn't really add much. So adding the expansions in sort of helped that.
Yeah,
but I mean, expansions. There's kind of two different kinds, really. I think there's the sort that add extra complication to a game that you already like, and there's also the ones where it could have been in the base game, but they wanted to simplify it for the initial release. So it's kind of making the game what it should have been to start with. I think.
Yeah, I think probably these days, when you're designing a game, you'll probably have some expansions in mind in case it is a
possibly, especially things. I mean, there's a sort of a phenomenon with Kickstarters as well, where they try and design them so there's stretch goals.
Yeah.
So the stretch goals might be an expansion or two.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, that doesn't come in general games, but there's definitely some Kickstarter games where that's been a thing.
Yeah. I've seen some where you just get boxes and boxes and boxes of extra stuff, and good luck playing all of that.
Yeah.
Like you say, you'd have to play the game quite a lot, wouldn't you, to get through all the expansions that some of them have. I think some of it plays into the completionist as well in this, that if you've got a game you want sort of that you like, that you played and you want everything for it. So I've definitely picked up expansions where I really like the base game and stuff, but I've picked up an expansion or something, and either it's just sat on the shelf and we've not played it enough, like you said, to justify putting it in, or but you can say that you've got it, and you
like I say, for me and Polly, we just got so many games that we never play one game over and over and over again. Really. So we found that it's not really worth getting expansions for us.
Yeah, we do tend to play a lot
game styles. So.
Yeah, we do tend to play a lot of games a lot of times, because Tracy kind of has her favourites, and she likes playing those ones. So we do play quite a lot. So maybe that's where we differ slightly. If you do have an expansion, do you keep the box? Do you keep it as a separate thing, or do you just throw it all in the main box, or do you?
There's two opposite pulls here. One, we don't have a lot of space, but the other is I really don't like throwing boxes away. I mean, it's supposed to go in there. I don't know. So we keep the boxes, even though we probably shouldn't. Which also has the problem of it makes it harder to incorporate it into the game when you get it out. So we just end up playing the base game anyway.
Yeah. Well, we played Unearth last week at the club, and I've got an expansion for that. And because we were playing it with new players, I thought, we'll leave the expansion out and we'll just play sort of the base game. But of course, all the stuff's mixed in there, so you have to sort of. While I was setting it up, I was pulling out cards and thinking, are these the original ones, or are these part of the expansion? What are colourless tokens? Or that's part of the expansion. We don't need those. So I've kind of folded that into the box, but then made setup a bit more complicated because we had to pull out all the stuff that we didn't need or want to play with, sort of with playing with other people. Well, if it's a game that you like, then obviously it'll be in print and it'll be available. But expansions, I think, come and go more than the games themselves.
Yeah, so tend to be a bit harder to get hold of if you.
Yeah, sometimes they're a bit harder to get hold of. If you really like a game and you've played it a lot and you see an expansion on the shelf, sometimes it's worth it just to grab it, because you don't know if it'll be there for much longer, and then it's going to be difficult to get hold of sort of later on down the line. That's another part of the completionist thing, I guess, trying to get everything for the game. But if you miss out on your chance, you might be gone after that. Some of the expansions kind of add modular stuff to the game. So I don't know if you've played the Splendor one.
The Cities expansion, yeah.
Yeah, but there's a couple of... I think they've actually changed it now with the new printing of it. They've changed the way it works, but originally you got 3 or 4 different modules.
And you can add one or two of them.
One or two of them, but not all of them. You can't play with all of them. And then there's other expansions, like I said, that just add more stuff, and you just fold it into the game, and it just adds an extra space to go to, or an extra cards or something.
Yeah, some expansions you get are just add this card. It adds a whole tiny little extra different.
Yeah.
I mean, probably the smallest expansion I can think of is the start thing for number 9.
Oh, yeah.
So just give people a slightly different start.
It's a tiny little tile, isn't it? That you
tiny different tile, which is a different shape for each player. Therefore, you've got you can't have the same thing.
And I don't know if you've seen this, but I think there is a German magazine, and sometimes they have stuff on the front, and sometimes it's kind of like a promo kind of thing, but sometimes that's only like a card or two or a tile or two.
I think I got a Catan tiny mini expansion from a German magazine.
Yeah, they call it
that one that you're talking about.
Mini expansions. Yeah, so it's that sometimes they add like little bits and bobs just by adding like an extra couple of cards or a tile or something. Have you played Carcassonne recently?
Not recently.
I think the river has come in the base
started
box
as an expansion, and now it's in the base box.
Yeah. They just sell it with the river now, and that has quite a few expansions that you can sort of pick up and throw in as well.
Yeah, I think my first experience of Carcassonne was my sister had a big box Carcassonne which had lots of different expansions.
Yeah.
And one of them was a ridiculous catapult. So. Just firing your meeples onto the board and doing that.
Yeah, sometimes they're a little bit weird, aren't they? And they add stuff that just doesn't fit in with the game. But you think, how did they think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're trying to think of dozens and dozens of different expansions, you end up with some crazy ideas.
Yeah.
I think for me, the only expansion that I'd be looking out for that I haven't got is the Norwegian expansion for Feast of Odin. Feast for Odin, not Feast of Odin. Sorry, I keep on getting that wrong, I think. And I've heard that is just better. Just play it with the Norwegians instead of the base game.
Yeah.
Never take it out. But I've never experienced it, so I don't know. I think it has an entire different board with all the actions on it, I think. But
yeah, speaking of making the game better, I think sometimes the designers, they'll have, people playing the base game. They might have data from like online games like Board Game Arena or the apps that release stuff like that. And sometimes it can add stuff that people, it might tweak the game a little bit to make it a bit more balanced or make it,
So they might either put out a second edition or just have a little tweak with an expansion.
Yeah, you mentioned the Seven Wonders Duel one. I think in the base game of that, you have to take one of the cards that's face down, but the expansion gives you like an extra option. So if there's none of the cards that you want on the face down, you can do one of the other things at the top there. That was one of the things that they added in that expansion, which was pretty good. Gives you more options and more choices about what to do on your turn.
But it is obviously a whole extra bit of rules, so that you can see why they wouldn't put it in the base game, because
definitely
a more complicated game for people to learn to start.
Yeah, you get an extra rule book, don't you? They have to keep track of, and extra components and stuff that makes it more time consuming to set up and things like that. So sometimes it's just an extra map. So I'm thinking about like what's that racing game, Heat, or like Ticket to Ride or something like that. Sometimes you just get a map with some slightly different rules tweaks.
There's loads of maps for train games, and Power Grid's the other one, which has got
Power Grid, yeah.
Ticket to Ride.
Last time I played that, I think we played on one of the different maps. Yeah, it might have been Korea or something like that. I can't remember now, but yeah. The Ticket to Ride ones are quite clever because sometimes they add like a slightly different rule change or something.
Yeah, I think they generally have
again a little bit
different. Yeah,
I've played the one where you get technologies where you can upgrade and you get extra technologies.
I think that's the UK one, isn't it? I
think so. Yeah, and then there's one with stocks and shares where you can collect shares and things, and then there's a German one with sort of people. There's like people on the spaces, and you can sort of move them around and things and get points that way. So they always add like a little bit of a twist to the rules.
I think the only other game I can think of where the expansion is sort of considered essential and is now basically considered part of the base game is Viticulture, the Tuscany expansion. I think I've only ever played it with that in, so I don't even know. I've never played the base game, but the expansion just adds a couple of extra bits, I think.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you've got any. Have you got any games that you wouldn't play without an expansion?
That I wouldn't play without. Probably the only one really is Carcassonne, but like you said, that comes with a river, and we usually play with inns and cathedrals as well with that. But
yes,
that's like an extra one. But I don't think there's any that I wouldn't play without. No.
The ones. Any other expansions you just sort of might put in for a bit of variety?
Yeah, even Takedo, I'm quite happy to play that just on the base game, especially if it's like with new players. But I do like the sort of gambling with the dice and stuff. One of the mads and things like that. Yeah, it does add a little bit to it. But yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head that that I desperately need. There was one. Actually, I've got a cooperative game called Alltree, and it's kind of like a story-based game where you kind of cooperatively trying to run this sort of county that you've all been put in charge of. It only comes with 5 missions in the base game, sort of 5 stories. So you can obviously play the same story a couple of times, but once you've seen what's coming up, it makes it a lot easier, and
you know what you've got to build. Yeah,
you know what you're doing. So that kind of limits the game a little bit. So I did pick up an expansion for that one, which adds a few more, 3 more stories. I think it adds.
Oh, nice.
And then there's a promo as well, which adds another story. And apparently they are making another expansion as well, which is going to add more stuff. So it's a great game, and it's on its own with those sort of base stories. But I think once you played those, you'd want a bit more to carry on playing it. I think that's pretty much it for expansions. Any other thoughts or?
No, I think I'm just thinking of what other expansions I've got. As I say, I don't have that many, but the only game that we probably played enough to justify having lots of expansions is Pandemic, where we've got the On the Brink box, which has got several different expansion things. They had mutated strains and things like that.
Pandemic's one of our favourite games. We play it all the time, but I've never played any of the expansions for that.
Oh, right. Okay.
We've always just played the base game.
If you just want to tinker with the difficulty a bit,
Yeah, that's a good call. I have got a couple of big box games. So we bought Castles of Burgundy Special Edition, and that comes with some expansions. And I've also got Castles of Mad King Ludwig, and that comes with all the expansions in there.
Mad King Ludwig.
Mad King Ludwig, yeah. Never played any of the expansions, always just played the base game. So even though they're all in there and it's got all the promos and the expansions that's ever been made, never played with any of them.
I think the problem is you just got too many games.
Yeah. So we'll have to get down to a club and play more games and play more often.
Yeah,
that's the only answer, isn't it?
Yeah,
and then we'll definitely need the expansions then. Okay, but I guess like you say, a lot of the time you're not really missing out if you don't play them. If you've got sort of the base game and you've only played it 3 or 4 times, that's probably plenty. You won't be missing anything if you don't get the expansions.
Yeah, I mean, people are different. People have different relationships to their games and play hundreds of times.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's pretty much us for this episode then. So thank you very much for joining me, Tom. It's been good talking to you again as usual.
Pleasure, I thought.
We've been the Sheffield Board Gammers, and we'll catch you on the next episode. So goodbye for now.
Bye.